media, sort of social engagement. You don't watch TV, listen to the radio, read newspapers. And then we look at household wealth and rates of urbanization. So the big problem with these questions is how do you know the railway will go into areas that were already more developed. So we use three strategies to try to uncover causality. The first thing we did is that we used the fact that, for example, the railway goes from Lagos to Kano. We don't argue that the administrators just close their eyes and drew lines and say, okay, I'll get the railway way around, and we don't argue that. All we argue is that they were going to go from Lagos to Kano. They went from Lagos to Kano, but we're saying that within Lagos, the location of the railway was random. So, for example, as you see later, so they wanted to go from Lagos to Kano, but the railway was not in the city of Lagos. It was in an adjacent city, because Lagos is an island. You don't want to be like that. It's not possible to build the railway to an island. So this is why I argue that within a local division, the railway was allocated in terms of randomly. It had nothing to do with the local production capacity of the area. So we said that, and then we used the fact that these local areas have been divided many times since 1930. I think in my lifetime, I've been in three local divisions. They just keep dividing and shifting. So that's the kind of duration that we use. And then we also try to announce maybe this division is related to something that we don't observe. So we divide the railway by ourselves. So instead of using the official divisions, we just go and divide the areas ourselves and look at within that area, look at those our divisions that we make. And then thirdly, we say, okay, maybe areas were treated for some reason that we also don't observe. So what we do is that we have an assignment rule. The rule is that you are more likely to get the railway if you are on a straight line joining nodes or joining areas. So we use the distance of where the majority of where the local area is to the straight line as an instrument for the rail line going through the area. So those are the three methods that we use, and then in general our results are the railway on average in the country has a strong impact on local development. Right? So areas with the railway tend to be a lot more developed on those measures than areas without the railway. But we found that in the southern parts of Nigeria, the railway basically had no impact, no strong impact. And then this is surprising because there's been studies in the past that looked at the impact of the railway and we find that it's beneficial, it boosts trade, it's very, it encourages production. But in southern Nigeria, this was not the case. But then when we begin to think about it, it's not that surprising because these areas have been exposed to European trade since the 16th century. Alright, so in that sense, the economic geography of the areas formed before the railway, and then they formed for reasons related to trade with Europe. The railway was constructed to encourage trade with Europe. So in that sense, people in the south did not change what we were exporting significantly, and they did not change their trade patterns. They produced to export to Europe. And then I'll show you a map, you'll see that it's better to go through rivers or to just walk to the coast than walking all the way to a rail station to ship in southern Nigeria. So basically the alternative technology, the alternative transportation technology, roads and rivers, appears to be preferred in the south. For example, 25% of palm oil, of the exports of palm oil was shipped through the rail line. But for groundnut exports that are produced in the north, you see that the percentage is 99%. So almost all groundnuts were shipped through the rail line, but very, very few palm oil was shipped through the rail line. So you see that the technology was not adopted in the southern parts of Nigeria. So just a literature. So in terms of the other literature, you can think of the impact of European contact and contemporary African economy, colonization, the impact of nations, enslavement, and many other investments. Also think about the impact of the role of geography.